Hello and welcome. I'm Jenny Hall. I'm so happy to be with you here today. Happy New Year! I haven't seen you guys since last year. I love saying silly things like that. Isn't that hilarious? So I'm going to get everything set up here, and then we're going to make a really fun craft project that can be done on the go or in your craft room or watching TV, any way you like it. Hi Anne Marie, Happy New Year to you. Going to get started here. We're going to make a project with this stamp set today, and this is called Lovely Lattice. This is a Celebration stamp set. Hey Joanne. Hi Kathy, Happy New Year. All right, I'm going to ask that if you are watching, if you wouldn't mind sharing the video, then I would really appreciate it. And today we're going to have a giveaway. I'm really excited to be able to share a giveaway with you guys. I'm going to give away one of the cards we're going to make. So I'm going to make one card with you today, but we are going to show more than one card. So I've been crafting on the go, and that way I can get a little bit of work done. Thank you for sharing the video. Hi Joanne. Especially when you're in a holding pattern or waiting, and I hope you do, Anne Marie. And with the holidays and with people visiting and disruption to our schedules, then it's easy to miss out on the crafting time that we need. But with the project that I have today for you, it will enable you to be able to have some things packed up and ready to grab at a moment's notice, which is how I was able to get some work done, some projects done. Hello Judy, how are you? Thank you for watching. And I wanted to share a few things with you guys. So I'm not sure how well you can see this, but this is the beautiful new linen thread in Old Olive. Can you have a look at it and how it used to be on here? I'll give you one guess as to what happened to this thread. I've used it on my cards that I'm sending out. Hi Karen, thanks for stopping by. My new cards that I'm sending out with my catalogs, which I have already sent them out, and they should be arriving in mailboxes today or tomorrow. So if you are in need of a catalog and you do not already work with a demonstrator, then just let me know and I'll be happy to send a catalog your way. So I made the mistake of leaving this thread out on my workspace. And you can just guess who got it, right? I think you guys might know. See if you can guess who got a hold of it. One silly little boy. Hello, Gina. Okay, so I think you know what happened to this. It was Nate. He got a hold of it, and he got the embossing powders again as well. School holidays are not always so easy for kids that need that kind of routine. So he was able to break the lock, get in my studio, and have a little bit of a free-for-all. That Nate. No, Fran, it was not a cat. It was my son, Nate, who is probably more destructive. I hope he had fun too, Anne Marie, although I wish he would just lay off the embossing powders. He likes them too much. Okay, so I have some great opportunities for you today. We, as of tomorrow, and I would say that now because we're watching on Facebook on January the 2nd, but January 3rd is when we're going to have our new catalog is going to be available to purchase from. and that would be the Occasions catalog and the Celebration brochure. But let's not forget about the annual catalog that is also still active until the end of May. So we have 3 opportunities, 3 different things, catalogs that you can order from. So I wanted to just kind of give a little bit of a reminder that don't forget about the items in the annual catalog. And I've been integrating them in with my new projects, and it's working out really, really well. And Celebration, I can't show you the inside, but there's some wonderful things inside. And one of them is this stamp set that we're going to use today. And this is Lovely Lattice. Lovely Lattice, I'll tell you what page it's on, although I cannot show it to you. It's on page number 15. And this is a level 1 Celebration reward, which means that if you make a product purchase of $50, then you can earn this for free. So I'll give you a closer look at it. I'm holding it at an angle so that the lights are not going to totally wash it out. It's a beautiful stamp set. It's a big stamp set. This is how big it is. Check it out. And I'll put it up against my hand so that you can actually see how big this stamp is. Now, whenever you use a big stamp set, then it has the opportunity for making a very quick project. Fran is saying that she hopes he did not get the embossing powder in his lungs or eyes. I don't think he did. He seems perfectly fine, Fran. Thank you for that, for the concern. I really appreciate it. He has gotten these things, I don't know how many times, and I always move them to a new location. That boy, he is a very inquisitive boy. He is. So Lovely Lattice, if you guys haven't used it yet, if you're a demonstrator and you were able to pre-order, you may have earned this and be ready to use it. And if you are not a demonstrator and you're waiting to order it on January the 3rd, Lovely Lattice is going to be an absolutely wonderful choice. I absolutely love it. And I've got lots of things to share with Lovely Lattice for you today, because that's a type of a stamp set that we can use that makes a very quick card. And also I want to point out that there are no sentiments. Let me give it another look here. Let's get it to where it's not going to be glared. But there are no sentiments on this stamp set, which gives you a really great choice to be able to make it into any sort of card you want. This would make a really good get well card because it's a bunch of flowers. Florals can work in many different ways. We're going to be making it a birthday card today. And the giveaway is going to be that I'm going to give away one of the cards we're going to make today. And so if you share the video and like it, then leave me a comment and let me know that you did so, and you'll be entered into the drawing. It's going to last all the way until Tuesday of this coming next week. So I'd love to be able to send you the card. All right, so we're gonna pretty much get down to it. I do have something special to share with my customers. I have a new program that is going to start. I'm not changing my reward system at all. You'll still get rewards, the little reward point cards, and I have people that collect them, and when you get to 10 points, you get to have a $50 shopping spree. Isn't that exciting? You get to pick anything you want that's from Stampin' Up! So you could pick a combination of things, you could pick one item, you could pick let's say a $60 item, that I would put the $50 towards your item, and then you could pay the balance. Not so bad, is it? And I have lots of people that's their goal, and I have a special that's running from now that I'm extending up until January the 15th. You get double rewards points. So if you collect my rewards points, or this is a time when you would like to, I'll give you double rewards points up until January the 15th. You get 1 point for every $50 that you spend in my online Stampin' Up! Store. If you have any questions at all, just leave me a message and I'll get back to you. Also, I have a program that's going to start, and I'm going to be putting these special little cards. I'm not sure how well you can read them, but a special little card in random thank you cards that I send out from people that order in my store, and it's a golden ticket. Isn't that just sound like it's so cool? Golden ticket. This is not my original idea. I have borrowed this idea from a few demonstrator friends that have really found that their customers enjoy getting some kind of a mystery gift. So this is a golden ticket, and it would be for $5 off of your next order. Isn't that cool? If you have any questions about the golden tickets, then you can also leave me a message. And one more thing before we get stamping. I wanted to share that the reason why I'm sharing this bag is because this bag has been such a great help to me with my crafting. When I was at OnStage in Orlando, all the demonstrators were given this little toolkit, is what they're calling it. It's empty and it has some pockets and places to put pencils and things inside. But this has been really, really handy for me on my crafting on the go. And if you follow my channel, you already know that I do a lot of crafting on the go because my kids have a lot of appointments. Both of my children are special needs, and I have a lot of waiting rooms, doctor's appointments, therapists, all sorts of things, lots of meetings. And so I can grab this and I can have watercolor pencils inside, which is what I have inside today, a few markers, some pre-stamped images, and it's ready to go. All I do is grab this. Now what I've started doing as well is I have kept my bag here. This is my craft and carry tote. And I have started keeping some items in here ready to go so that I can grab this bag. I can toss my wallet down inside and my cell phone, a bottle of water, a couple of snacks for the kids, and this bag is ready for me. It's ready to go. It's ready for crafting on the go. I can even put their iPad computer inside here. And I know that I've got lots of room. It's very sturdy. And I just can't tell you guys how much I'm loving this bag. Originally, I think it's designed to be able to carry around to classes for demonstrators. And it's only available to demonstrators. But I'm using this just in my day-to-day life. I love this bag so much. So I wanted to share what the different opportunities are for you to be able to get this bag. This little carry tool case thing is not available for purchase. It was a free giveaway at Orlando OnStage. But this bag is available. You can get it if you sign up to be a demonstrator as of January the 3rd. That's tomorrow if you're watching me on Facebook. If you're watching me on YouTube, that means that it's already active and you can get it now. You can choose to get this in your starter kit, but only demonstrators can order it, okay? So if you're interested, be sure to get it before they run out. I don't know that they're going to get any more. And I just love this bag. I just can't say enough good things about it. So I keep this loaded and ready to go, and I put it down in my bag, and I can either grab the whole thing or I can just grab this out and go. And so this has a whole theme of crafting on the go for me. And that's what we're all about today, is the projects that I'm going to show you have been started with crafting on the go. So I've gotten all the things I wanted to share. Let's get started on stamping. So here is another look at the stamp set. This is a better look at it. It's called Lovely Lattice, and it's one of the new types of stamps called a cling stamp. And the cling stamps have a new kind of sticker, and that allows it to adhere to the block. And you can see here, it is really on the block very well. Thank you, Fran. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Joanne. Thanks, Judy. I really appreciate you guys helping me out and looking out for me. I don't want you to be looking all crooked again this time. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to stamp this on a piece of paper, and I'll show you how I do my crafting on the go. So Lovely Lattice is the perfect absolutely thing I'd sometimes stamp out lots of images on different types of paper in different colors, and I keep them inside my little tool case, and I put some markers that I think would make a good combination. This is the marker combination that I had in my packet in my tool case, and I took them out to show with you today. And this is just a perfect image that I can just pick it up and leave it alone. If they call our name, then we can go in and I can just zip up my case. Everything's going to stay inside, and I can pick back up where I left off at a later time. Oh, Kathy, I'm so glad you like this one. It is a beautiful stamp set, and it has lots of possibilities. Well, we're going to look at a few of the different possibilities today. So I'm going to start out with a piece of Whisper White, and this is the thick cardstock. You'll hear that this makes a different sound than the thin Whisper White does. And I'm going to stamp this large image with gray granite. And this is an opportunity that you can go light or you can go dark. And I mean that in the way that you can ink this up, stamp it off, and then stamp it to your paper. And if you do that, then you'll have a lighter image. Or you can ink it up and go directly to the paper, and that'll give you a darker outline image. This is going to help you if you want to try no line coloring, then I would go lighter, or you can stick with darker and to kind of do a little practice in between. So I'm going to start off here. Because this is a larger stamp, then I tend to put the ink pad to the stamp and get a better result. This is gray granite. And I'm going to put it down to the paper. The paper is the size of an A2 card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm not going to put it completely centered. I'm going to raise it up just a little bit because I'd like to put a sentiment underneath it. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight because this image is a little forgiving in the way that it can kind of go out a different, there we go. Sorry about that. Lost my thought. To where it can go out in a different few ways. You could turn it sideways and have it oriented in a different way. And this is simply how easy it is to cut away, to stamp. Now you could cut away and do a fussy cut around the whole thing or just around the actual oval, the lace oval image, and then lay the flowers over it. That's kind of what we're going to do today. But I made the size of my paper the size of a card front so that when we're finished coloring, we can adhere it directly to a card base like this, and it would be a pretty one-layer card. Now, the reason I wouldn't color this directly onto the card base is because when I'm using Stampin' Blends markers, they will bleed through the paper. And this is an example of what it looks like when they bleed through the paper. So I don't want my inside of the card to have this look. Instead, it's easy for me to just adhere this panel to a card base like this. And it still is a very simple yet elegant card. So coloring the roses are going to be, oh my goodness, so many different color possibilities. You can imagine the color possibilities. I chose to go with some very nice light pink colors, and this is the color combination that I'm using. It's dark Flirty Flamingo, not the light. And then this is light and dark petal pink combination, the combo pack. There's not a tremendous difference between these two colors on the caps, but when you go to color with them, you'll see that there is a nice subtlety difference between the two. So I'm going to not color the leaves. Instead, I'm going to color only the flowers, and it's going to be very quick, very easy. And this is how I would stamp my image and place it inside my little tool case. I'll show you my tool case again. So there are several pockets inside, and I kind of keep images inside here. Here's one that is on shimmery white cardstock with some butterflies that are ready to be colored. And I can slide these inside these little pockets. And I often keep a pair of scissors in here as well. This is a little bit of a larger piece of paper, so it's a little, I gotta fold it a little bit to get it inside, but oftentimes I'll chop it into smaller pieces or just kind of tuck it back here safely behind everything. But I keep all of my watercolor pencils in this package, and here's another safe area here. And then I slipped in a few markers that I knew I was going to use, and that way I have a couple of different opportunities. And so this morning, when I was preparing for this video, I just slipped out some of the projects that were created and the markers that I had inside to show you and be able to share the project with you. So let's get to coloring. We're going to do a very, very simple coloring job, and we're going to use very easy, subtle blending. This is not something that I would suggest that you take your time and do tedious work on. This is a project that you can stamp 5 panels, throw them in your to-go case with a couple of markers, and know that you can get them done in a very quick amount of time. So what I like to do is start off with my light color, and this is the lightest shade. This is light petal pink. I forgot to mention that if you guys have any questions at all, then just please start off your comment with the word question in capitals, and then type your question, and it will be very easy for me to see that you have a question and answer it right on the spot. And thank you guys for sharing the video. I appreciate it. There's 2 different tips to each Stampin' Blend marker. One is a very small bullet, and the other is a longer brush. You can choose which one you like. When doing quick coloring, I oftentimes will choose the longer because I can get more area covered in a shorter amount of time. So this is kind of like speed coloring in a way. So what I'll do is I will get this started here. The lighter color is going to be towards the outside of the leaf. And it's okay to leave the very edge of the leaf. If you would like it to be white, then that's fine. But I'm going to take and lay the marker down and literally just go around very, very quickly. Now this is going to be the outside, the lightest part of my leaf or my flower. I'm not going to color any of the leaves. In the areas that I know are going to have a much darker color, I don't have to color them at all. The part that's down in the center of the flower, it's not necessary for me to color that. Now on this larger flower, I know there is going to be an overlapping of the petals, so I want to take a little bit more time and be sure that I do get this strategically placed in the right areas. So that was very quick. It looks like I forgot a few little flowers here. Very quick for our first layer. Now I'm going to put the darkest. I go usually from light to dark and then blend it together with the medium tone. And remember, we are working very quickly here to get this project. It's an on-the-go project. And if I just add little touches where the petals overlap, for example, if there was a color that, or a petal that was laying underneath or beside or deep down into the most shadowed area of the petal, and that's where I want to work my darkest color. And if one petal is overlapping another, then I know it would be a darker area. It doesn't have to be perfect either. This is a very quick on-the-go project. And I'll show you what the finished, we're going to be able to finish this off today. And I'll show you what it looks like finished so that you're able to understand why this is an on-the-go project. So far we're going pretty fast. And this is our medium color. This is the dark petal pink. And I can use the I can use the bullet, or I can use the brush. We'll use the brush just because it's going to cover more area. And I'm using very, very small circular motions. And that's going to just help me to be able to get the color worked in maybe a little more evenly. I like to work in circles, little tiny circles. And I'm bringing it up to that lighter color, but not over the lighter color, because I want to keep that lighter shade on the outside of the petal. But can you see how the colors are just now kind of blending and bleeding together? It looked a little odd when I added the darker tone, but mixing in that lighter transition color is where it really makes a big difference. And this is working up very fast. So I'm taking care to make sure that each leaf gets, or each petal gets the same type of transitional color. There is a little bit of squeaking here. I had a question about markers squeaking recently, and there's really nothing we can do to prevent the markers from squeaking. Sometimes they don't squeak when I'm going really slowly coloring like this, but if I'm coloring quickly, then I find that it squeaks a little bit more. And as this dries back, then we'll have even more blending happening on the paper. So if I want to really start pushing the color around, I'm going to switch over to the bullet end and then use a little bit of pressure with this nice sturdy bullet tip. And the transition line that I added earlier, I can just kind of push the initial darker color down into the paper, and it will literally push that ink away. And it's going to have a much more squeaky sound because I'm using some force on the paper. And it really does work. You really can push that color away. So it gives us just a little bit more of a soft transition. I hope you guys can see that. And then I can go back with a light marker if I missed a couple of areas or want to make things just a little bit more colored on the end of the petal, where I left a little bit of white space, and it will create even more of a soft transition. And so that's a really quick coloring job on this particular project. And we could leave it exactly here where it is if we like. I'm not coloring the leaves because the leaves can stand up on their own. They don't have to have coloring. Now, if you want to take the time and do the coloring, then that works good. Now, this does bleed through, you can see. When we added the dark colors and then pushed them down with the lighter colors, then they go and they hang out in the back side of the paper. So this is a very quick coloring method. Now, let's take this project and bring it up just a little bit more. This would not be simple stamping with the coloring. I think it's simple, excuse me, as far as stamping, but the coloring part would be bringing it up just a little bit for a casual crafter. But here's a little scrap of paper, and I have that same color ink. So how about if I had a few of these little beauties stamped in my little stamp case that I could color to match while I'm coloring this, or while I'm coloring multiples, then I could just run over and grab this, and with my pair of scissors, these can be colored in exactly the same way. In fact, I'll show you one example. And I don't plan on cutting away or coloring any of those leaves. So let's just say we can add a little bit of coloring here. Let's give it a bit more variety because I want these little small ones to really stand out. And then get this darker color here around the edges. We can even get them up around the outside edges because this will be cut away. It'll be fussy cut. And that's one of the reasons why I keep the scissors in my little toolkit. So I don't have to be very precise. So let's pretend I've colored all of these. And while I'm still in a waiting room, or while I'm watching TV with my kids and they're hanging out and they're watching their shows, decompressing from their day, then I have my little toolkit or my tool bag, and I have the time to be able to spend time with my family, and at the same time I can be fussy cutting some colored flowers. It works out really well for me. Do you guys have a special way that works out for you? So let's pretend like I did all of these already. Because I have got these little flowers all set and ready to go. And I will finish this project off a little bit later. Put it away somewhere safe. And due to the magic of sitting in waiting rooms and being prepared, I have one that's already colored. This is colored pretty much the same, except for I stamped this in crumb cake. And this is the one that I stamped in gray granite. There's not a lot of difference. It kind of works out the same way with there being a neutral. So I'll finish this version off and share it with you guys. But for now, we're going to switch over to this one that's already colored and already fussy cut. So how can we use these tiny little flowers to kind of kick it up a notch? I'm thinking that we can add them onto our project with a dimensional. You can use your mini dimensionals or full size. This is a full size dimensional. And I'm going to place them in areas that are really going to catch the eye in between the other flowers. And you can see the back here where the colors kind of bled out into it, into the paper, which is okay. Oh, thank you guys. I'm glad that you like them. So I can go out and cover some of these leaves like this. And I think these little flowers are just kind of the perfect accent to be able to stand up and be noticed on the project. And this is still a very simple card. It happens really quickly. It will be easy to mass produce them. Let's get another one out here. I've got 5 of them, so I have the opportunity to be able to put lots of the flowers in. And the coloring is exactly the same as I showed you on those. The only thing that I did differently, let's get one up here. The only thing that I did differently for this particular one is that after I fussy cut the little flower, which I'll finish that off here, then I ran around the outside of the cut line with one of the Stampin' Blends that I used. And if you want it to be darker on the outside edge, then use the darkest of the ones that you created with. Otherwise, go lighter. And I just touched on to that cut line. And what it does is it takes away the white edge of the cut mark on the paper where the scissors cut away from the paper. And the Stampin' Blends will actually bleed into the rest of the paper. Kind of, it's very easy and subtle. So you can see that this is how I got the look of the little flower here. Pretty cool, isn't it? Some tiny little details like that are very easy to help make this project go together really quickly. Thank you, Anne-Marie. I'm glad you like it. So we're going to switch over to a stamp set that has a few really nice sentiments. On an image that is this big, I want to use a sentiment that will kind of complement and fit in nicely. Not something that's going to be too large or overpower. Ideally, I would like to take the time and make a little banner strip and then snuggle in the sentiment right here in between these flowers. But this is all about a quick project today. So with needle and thread stamp set and with crumb cake, because this was stamped in crumb cake, then I'm going to use this very simple happiest birthday to you. Ink it up and then add a very simple sentiment. So now we've turned this into a birthday card. We could make it into a get well card, a thank you card, and all of these sentiments actually fit in with the size perspective of this stamp set of Lovely Lattice, which I like very much, that it works so well together. And this was needle and thread, and this is also in the Occasions catalog. This would be a great opportunity to pair a stamp set that you already have in your stash to go with this particular little beauty here. So now we can take this panel, because it's already the right size, and with some snail adhesive, adhere it to a card base. So this is going to look like a one-layer card, which a lot of people have trouble with, is a one-layer card. But check it out, how easy this was to color so quickly, and be able to also have these little guys here already stamped. And while you're waiting, just take the time and do some fussy cutting, and then just pop up a few, and they really do stand out. I find that this is going to really be a very quick project to put together. So it's just a very simple project. And this was the first one we did. And then the colors are going to settle a little bit more. So what if you have this and you've already done your marker coloring and you have a lot more waiting time, which I do. I usually will stay out in my van if I can, and otherwise I'm sitting actually in the waiting room. But some appointments we're asked to go back out and wait, which I'm cool with, because that means that I can grab my markers or I can grab my watercolor pencils. So that's why I wanted to point out that my little tool case also has the watercolor pencils. So I had lots of images that were stamped in here and ready to color. So another version of this card is here. It's a one-layer card stamped on crumb cake with crumb cake. I've used exactly the same sentiment, and I've just used the watercolor pencils to color. The watercolor pencils do not have to be activated. They can just be used as colored pencils. And that's what I've done here. This is very simple to color. And I started off by adding the white pencil to the flowers. And I did the whole flower with a white pencil. And then I did yellow pencil on all of the leaves. Then I was able to go in and select my colors for the roses and just work from the inside out, making sure that I leave some white area on the outside. After I did the shading, then I was able to use my darkest color of pencil and go over that stamped line to just kind of help the roses stand up a bit. This can also look really nice when you do this with a gray pencil, but it helps everything to kind of come up off of the paper. Now I have some tips on coloring leaves, especially if they're colored in nice, pretty colors. what I started with was the yellow, as I said, and then I used Bermuda Bay. And I'll get those colors out again just so I can show you, because this is one trick that I have found that really helps me with being able to getting some enriched colors. So we'll do a little test drive here. We're going to take the yellow, the Bermuda Bay, and then these are the pinks that I used, and I did a little bit of orange. And these are the only colors that I used in coloring this, besides the green. I used Old Olive as well. And I used the gray. I know it's getting to be a little more and more. So let's take a little bit of look at how to get that varied look on those leaves here. I started out with yellow. So we'll color yellow here. And let's make this look like a leaf. So yellow is going to be the lightest color that's going to be on that leaf. And I wanted to have a bit of a contoured look. So let's pretend like, you know, we've got a bit of a curve here to the leaf. I know this is a blue color. It's more like a blue-green. But when I add this blue-green on top of the yellow, and then kind of work in a heavy line on the outside and then work toward the middle to the lighter area, that I'm using a very much lighter pressure. So I've got more around the outside, heavy pressure, and then a lighter pressure coming up into the part of the leaf that's not in the shadows. And I would normally have a stamped line here, so let's make sure that we have a perspective to make it look like a leaf. Then I want to kind of subtly work in circular motions to bring that heavy line out very, very subtly. Now I keep saying subtle here. With lighter and lighter pressure. And then I can go over with the green once I've got my deeper colors already established, and then I can make it look like a green leaf. I'll color in the other areas like this, and then even go over that Bermuda Bay. And see how it just enhances everything, and it no longer looks like I've added a blue-green. It looks more to me, in my eye, that I've got a shadowed leaf that has more of a natural contour. And of course there would be a stamped line on top of this. But that little trick with the blue-green and the yellow on top of the white cardstock has really given a different sort of look. The blue-green or a teal color is a real nice alternative to just having very bold, deep green colors. And I did the same type of thing here on the flowers. So it's really simple. And I know it sounds a little bit like, yes, this is simple, but maybe, you know, you don't feel comfortable with coloring. And this would be a great opportunity to be able to say to yourself, I don't have to show my work to anybody. I can stamp some images. I can take them on the go in my little tool case or whatever your case is. And you can just kind of work in some colors and practice a little bit and come up with some wonderful stuff that is going to be quick cards that are ready to go. So what do you guys think? I hope that you like this way of coloring on the go and having some items ready and stamped that you can just bring out when you need to and tuck it away very quickly if you need to stop your crafting. My little tool case includes colors of pencils and colors of marker and whatever it is that I'm particularly working on. And these don't have the same colors, you can see. And then we turn them into a birthday card. And I will be giving this card away as a giveaway because this one is my favorite. I like this one so very much with those little tiny flowers. And it's so simple. and it can be duplicated so quickly. Pretty easy. You're welcome, Kathy. I'm happy to share any coloring techniques that will help you guys with any kind of success. And I do want to stress that if you are using the Stampin' Blends, to give yourself time for the image to kind of dry up a little bit, and it's going to help things blend together a little more. And so this has been dried for some time. And if it dries a little bit and possibly you see that you might need to change the coloring just a little bit, then that will work. This particular piece was colored quickly, just like this one was. And you could even enhance it with colored pencils if you like. Lots of different ways, lots of different things that we can do on the go. And a needle and thread wouldn't be a bad thing to keep on hand in order to try to add a few little hand-stitched marks if you're working on some really small projects. As long as your son doesn't do this to your linen thread. Oh my goodness. I think he pulled it off from both ends and just slid it off. So I'm going to have quite a time getting this unraveled. I started working on it the other evening and thought to myself, wow, this is really going to be a big unraveling job. Because he's done it. He's really done it this time. My sweet boy. But I'll just kind of weave it back through and do that. Oh, thank you, Anne Marie. I love your cards, and I think you have your own unique style, and you do so very well that don't undervalue yourself, because you are an amazing artist, and you're sharing part of yourself. Everybody is when we create from the heart. We're sharing part of ourself, and that is going to come through to whenever we're sending this project to somebody. Then the emotion and all of the creativity that we pour into it just kind of shows. It kind of, like when I was coloring this, then the colors that I chose were a reflection of the mood that I was in on the day that I got a lot of this coloring done. In fact, when I colored this, I didn't have any orange on it at all. And I went back and I added the orange to kind of enhance things a little bit. And I felt like I got more perspective from being able to like have a couple of days in between coloring the first stage of this and then coloring the rest of it. So there's always room to practice, and this one was a good practice for me to be able to say, in color combinations. So the orange was a nice fun combination to add. That was the pumpkin pie pencil. And this is watercolor pencil. There is no water brush that has activated the pencil. It's all just stayed as pencil. Very, very easy. Well, I'm going to flip the camera back around. Hey Janine, Happy New Year. So thank you all for taking the time to spend with me today. These are the cards. Again, this is the one that's created on crumb cake with the watercolor pencils, and it's stamped with crumb cake. And I need to put this thread mess down. And then here is the version that we did the speed coloring on. And these are both with the Lovely Lattice stamp set. And this is available for purchase. Well, you can earn it. You can't purchase it, but it's available on January the 3rd. And that's tomorrow if you're watching on Facebook. And this will get you some really quick cards. You can do them on the go like I did, or you can sit down and just have a really fun time coloring. So thank you all so much for taking the time to spend with me today. I want to make sure that you know that there's an opportunity for you to be able to get your Stampin' Up! Starter Kit. It's $99 if you choose to join my team, and you have the opportunity to stamp together with my team members. We all are just a really nice supportive group. As a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you get lots and lots of benefits. And right now, one of the benefits is that you can order the Craft and Carry tote. You can get this. Being a demonstrator is one of the high points that I can think of each day as I go through my day. I love the sense of family that all of the Stampin' Up! Demonstrators have with each other. It's been a wonderful experience for me, and I love to share that opportunity with you. Now, with your starter kit, you can choose anything you want. But if you have any questions about it, just send me an email or drop me a message any way you like. But I just can't share the opportunity enough for you guys. $99 is the cost. Any questions at all, feel free to contact me. I want to remind you that you have double point opportunities until January the 15th. So if you want to get double rewards points, then this is the time to shop. Start tomorrow, January the 3rd, and you can get all of these wonderful, beautiful items in the Occasions catalog, and you can start earning your free product with Celebration rewards. So I'll have some more wonderful things to share with you on next Wednesday. And until then, I hope you have a fantastic week. I have some more projects that are out this week on my YouTube channel, so you can be sure to watch out for more video tutorials. Oh, and before I forget to mention, I've done something different with my blog posts. I blog over at jennyhalldesign.com, and the way I'm structuring my blog post looks a little bit different, so be sure to go over there and check it out. Down also are written instructions for every project that I do. And now there is a PDF that you can print. So if you really like that project, you can download it or you can print the PDF and it will give you the instructions. Odds are there's a video as well. So it's just a great thing for you to be able to have another resource. And I'm so happy to be able to share that with you. So please go over to my blog at jennyhalldesign.com. Check out the new ways, the new opportunities that I have structured on my blog post. Get your free PDF for every single one of my projects and leave me a comment and let me know what you think of that project and if you like having the PDF, because I like being able to share it with you and give you another learning opportunity. So I'm signing off for this week, and I will see you all again next time. And I hope you have a wonderful new year, a really great creative start to your 2019. This is going to be a year filled with joy, and I can tell you lots of great things are coming. And I can't wait to share a lot of my great things with you. So thanks again, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Trip. Thanks for watching the video. See you next time.